Hi, I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins, and welcome to a new episode of Thrive. And we're doing something a little different today. I'm very excited talking with Erin Erdmann, and we're going to get real and talk about some things that you are thinking, but perhaps haven't said out loud. So Erin, welcome. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks.
So we have adult beverages to help us get this conversation rolling today, but thank you for your willingness to go there and talk about some difficult issues. Tell me let's start positively. What's rocking in your life, in your career world? What's really fabulous?
You know, everything's going really pretty great. Work is chugging right along.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about 2016. I'm just, shedding off that old skin, and relationships going great.
Good for you.
Friendships rocking it.
Can't do it without our girlfriends.
Yeah, and I feel pretty healthy wellness wise. Been really working hard on trying to lose a little weight.
Yeah, you look great.
Thanks, and it makes you feel better. It really
does.
It goes in all spots in your life.
Well, you're an inspiration. So tell me what's hard, what's not going really well, so we can figure it out. You and I were talking earlier about the constant challenge of coworkers, and not to out any of our respective coworkers, but isn't it interesting that this is one of the biggest issues for all of us in our career, dealing with funky personalities at work?
Right. I think that it's crazy that you spend more time with your work family than you spend with your real family. And so it feels kind of familial sometimes. You're working with multiple
people. It feels sometimes dysfunctional.
It's like a dysfunctional family Thanksgiving 24/7. No.
Right. Bring on Adele.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No. So managing expectations and relationships with those coworkers can sometimes be a challenge. And I think that, your personal life does come in and interject into the way you're feeling about work. Sometimes it's hard to leave all those bags at the door. So I would say that balancing those relationships and staying happy.
So let's go to where everybody's thinking, and you and I have talked about this offline, that we know intellectually sometimes we need to draw that line in the sand with a difficult colleague, whether it's in our job or in our world, maybe a client or a vendor, whomever, right? But there's that voice saying, okay, I've got to behave. I've just got to suck it up. I've got to take it. And I think you and I are in agreement that it's time to set the boundaries and say, you need to treat me this way, and to put the expectations out there. Any thoughts?
It's always having the conversation is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
Getting to the point where you feel comfortable to just open your mouth. I think that once the words start coming out, oftentimes they just flow out like a waterfall, and it can be stress relieving, but getting to that point, kind of like walking to the edge of the cliff. Yeah. It's really scary because you do have to face that person day in and day out, manage that relationship. You want people's business. You want them to come back. You want them to look to you for ideas and inspiration, and you want to be recognized as a person that your colleague wants to be in the room with, right? Yeah. So it's just not always easy to get to that point of feeling comfortable enough to say, no, I won't tolerate this behavior, or I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I need to take care of me. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to say it because people don't live inside your head.
Well, and they can't read our minds.
Exactly.
I think for the longest time I was thinking, well, he or she has to know that they're behaving inappropriately, but they don't. They're in their own little world. And it also made me think, well, maybe there are times that I'm behaving in ways that are impacting other people less than positively. So I'm trying to check in with my people, my board of directors, my mentors, my friends, to say, have my back. How's this going? Does that help you?
Yeah, it does. I think that when you can find a trustworthy source to kind of dump the days,
unfiltered,
events, right?
Unfiltered.
Exactly, and get that feedback that is. Sometimes you have to ask for the feedback that might maybe hurt your feelings a little bit.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly. And that's just as difficult, asking for honest feedback. It's scary because I think that a lot of the times that dialogue can run in your head, but you get a little bit nervous for somebody to actually say it out loud.
I can absolutely relate. So let's take a little detour. You are an amazing leader. I've seen you in action, and I know that you've got an entrepreneurial spirit in you as well. And I am a Plan C professional. I have a day job, a career, full-on employment that I love. And I have this whole consulting thing on the side. And I know you're thinking, maybe 2016 is the year, you're thinking about flexing those entrepreneurial muscles. You think you'll do it?
I think there's a strong chance.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think people would never know about me is that I don't have the internet at home.
Maybe that's a good work-life integration strategy.
It helps create a good work-life balance.
I like it.
However,
I like it.
when you're trying to maybe get something off the ground, like I would
to
like
adjust.
to do, I'm gonna have to.
Or camp out at someone's house.
Right. Or hang out at Starbucks and just start firing through things on the laptop. But I think that I've got all these ideas that are always constantly running through my head. Most of them have to do at least somewhat with what I'm already doing in my day job.
Oh, yeah,
so
they're great
event
spin-offs.
planning, event organization, kind of scheduling, contracting, planning meetings, things like that. Being in control is kind of something that runs through my veins. And I think
cheers to you, my dear. We are control freaks, and it's good and bad, right? I mean, I set my bar really high. Do you have that issue in your life?
Oh yeah, the bar is I don't think I've ever
Olympic.
I haven't crossed the bar yet. It's just one project after another as I grow and gain expertise in specific areas. I think about what's next, what can be done bigger and better, and just doing things a little bit more. So hitting that satisfaction line is.
Do you ever think,
not
will I
easy.
be there? Will I ever get there?
Right. Oh, all the time. I just wonder, is it enough? What is it going to take to make me feel like, pack it up, done,
we're good,
don't have to ever
take
do
a
this
vacation.
Again. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes not even like take a vacation, maybe deviate paths of my career. Like I've completed everything that I want to complete here. This chapter of my life can be closed and that book can be put on the shelf, and maybe move it to the next level, the higher shelf. I'm not quite there yet, because I know that I have a feeling that I will know what it's going to feel like when I get to that point where I feel happy and successful, so that I can move on or move forward.
Do you think that you're defining success differently at this point in your life? For me, I know it changes.
It does.
It changes all the time.
And I think success is a feeling. It's not necessarily always a physical memento or a trophy or a certification. Or success is how you feel on the inside, and knowing what feeling good is. For me, that's when I know that I've been successful.
Now, I don't know about you, but I do appreciate validation and recognition from my colleagues, from my peers. Do you need that?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I am really fortunate, because I feel like my supervisor, my boss, they're great, really supportive, super awesome. Sometimes though, I feel like it's difficult, or you don't necessarily always get recognized by your colleagues. And I feel like I do a really good job of high-fiving and giving credit where credit is due.
Others. That's great.
And I didn't always do that. Because sometimes work can be a little bit competitive. And maybe people feel like if they don't share that high five or tell you that you did a great job, then you won't think that you did a great job.
Well, what I love is that you're setting up this culture of advocacy, right? And I believe in the boomerang effect. You put it out there and it comes back.
It does.
Right, if it's genuine and authentic.
Right, and don't say it if you don't mean
Yeah,
it.
it's got to be well-deserved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. We don't need a trophy or recognition for every task that we've been given.
Exactly.
We have to make sure that we're giving credit only when it is due, and when the successes are big, the accomplishments are, or that person worked really hard on that project, or that they really put themselves out there and went out on a limb and did something new. Or you work with people long enough, when they need a little bit of recognition or just to keep keep going. Sometimes that's all it takes is like, hey, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you don't always get that.
Right. When it's well deserved and authentic.
Exactly. That's when it feels the best.
So Erin, let's talk about bullying. You know, I'm fascinated by this. I've got friends that have kids that are experiencing this in grammar school. But as an adult woman, I see it. And I have experienced it. And I'm shocked. And I'm surprised. And I'm just perplexed that this is still an issue that we're dealing with. Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, and I do. And one of the things that I think is most surprising is that the bullies are the ones that tend to be calling out bully type behavior.
Yes.
And then I'm
so hypocritical.
Yeah, it is, exactly. But then I get nervous that, like, well, if I'm experiencing being bullied, does that also mean that I'm a bully?
Yeah, I hear you. Right. It makes us very introspective.
It is, and it's...
Which is good, I think.
No,
right?
it is.
You're thinking about, okay, how am I behaving out there?
Right, but bullies in the workplace is real. It is real. Friends of mine, close friends, have experienced it. And it's really difficult to just sit and have to listen sometimes to the experiences that your friends, or in my case, even my mom, has experienced bullying in her workplace. Wow. And I think that all the stereotypes that exist around a mostly female workplace can be just eye roll worthy sometimes, because what you see in the sitcoms and the way it's played out in TV really is...
Sometimes it happens.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's exactly how it happens. And it's not fun. It's not fun at all to be on the end of
the receiving end.
On the receiving end of being bullied. And what I think is even more difficult sometimes is when you know that it's happening, you're fully aware of what's happening, and the bully is hiding under a different disguise, almost like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Has the respect and charisma of people around town to think that they would never be that person, or that she's a rock star. She's always lifting up other women. But in fact, in reality, that's actually not the case at all.
Do you think, though, that it's really a self-esteem issue, that they're lacking confidence and that's why they're attacking or lashing out to other people?
And I think that that's a common excuse or reason that we give to kind of
Yeah,
justify.
I don't condone it, but it just seems like that's an MO.
It is. And sometimes, I mean, I'm perfectly happy to admit that sometimes my self-confidence and self-esteem are lacking in that.
Sure, me too.
But I also want to live by the golden rule and always treat people how I want to be treated. And as I age, I think, especially in the workplace, I've been in the workplace for, about 10 years now, the real workplace. And it's just, it doesn't quit. It doesn't quit. Yeah. It could be somebody in their 60s that is enabling or enacting this behavior. And what sometimes happens is that the culture of bullying starts to trickle down. So from one person... And that is what's scary, because it's something that it has to be nipped in the bud. It's a behavior that is not helpful anywhere. It reduces morale,
productivity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and you know how you feel some days.
It's debilitating.
When you get to work and you're like, the last thing I want to do is
deal with that person
or see their face because of the experience that you had with them a week ago, a day ago, 2 weeks ago even. Sometimes those feelings linger.
Okay, so I have an idea. So I'm going to be and I hope you'll be mine, our bully accountability master. So when we have that person who shall remain nameless, or those people in our worlds, and they're out there, and it's tough. I'm going to text you and say, okay, Erin, I need a little moment. Can you help, right?
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you help? Because for me, getting through those moments, I need to phone a friend.
Right. And because internalizing it is not going to help the situation. Like, it just
festers
and stews inside of you.
Yeah.
And then it's like you end up taking out your aggressions from that primary...
Somebody else.
Either on someone else, or it comes out during a different moment when you become maybe a little bit defensive about something that doesn't have anything to do with the primary issue, but it all relates back to that original comment or the way that you've been attacked
Right.
or perceived to be attacked during a meeting or a one-on-one or a 10-on-1 meeting or something like that. It's just
Okay, so
professional
I've got your
courtesy.
back.
Right.
If you've got mine.
I definitely have
Okay,
your
we'll
back.
look out for each other.
Absolutely.
That's
oh,
awesome.
that is great.
Any one bit of wisdom that you want to leave on before we finish this wine?
Oh man. Just, I think one of the things that I'm going to really focus on in 2016 is continuing to take care of myself, because
Nice.
I've realized that taking care of number one helps you take care of everything else in your life. It's,
So true.
you know, you're happier with your family and your friends and your significant other, but the happiness has to come from within first. You can't look towards the outside for those feelings. It has to come from within. And I think that that's something that I'll definitely continue to work on in 2016. Feeling better than ever about that, actually.
Honor
So,
yourself.
yes,
Honor yourself.
Absolutely.
We'll cheers to that.
Cheers.
Thanks, Erin. You're a rock star. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Thank
Thank you.
you.